Who is on the Lord's side? Who will serve the King? Who will be his helpers, other lives to bring? Who will leave the world's side? Who will face the foe? Who is on the Lord's side? Who for him will go? By thy call of mercy, by thy grace divine, we are on the Lord's side. Savior, we are thine. Jesus, thou hast bought us not with gold or gem, but with thine own life, but for thy diadem. With thy blessing filling each who comes to thee. Thou hast made us willing, thou hast made us free. This may be the conflict, strong may be the foe, but kings of army none can overthrow. Round his standard raging, victory is secured. For his truth unchanging makes a triumph sure. Joyfully enlisting by thy grace divine, we are on the Lord's side. Savior, we are thine. We are thine. We are thine. We are thine.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Spirit of Liberty broadcast. Who was that quartet that just sang? Good night. That was some good singing, if you ask me. I don't know if that will be the opinion if you ask anyone else, but that was from our music channel. That was Pastor Joe Major, Pastor Matt First, and Pastor Patrick Boyle, all singing from 4 different states together, and planning on releasing another one of those pretty soon, but I'm still waiting on a couple of the pastors to do their part and get that to me. I need to nag those guys a little bit. It's been a while since I sent everything to them, but in case any of them are listening, hey, I'd like to release the next song. It's going to be good. But today we're going to be talking about music and the importance of good music, and so I decided I would do a little bit of advertising for the music channel on YouTube, because I do think music is very important, and we're going to talk about that. It's very important to listen to good music. The problem that a lot of people have, though, is they don't know where to find it. If you just go to a Christian bookstore to look for Christian music, you are probably not going to find what you really need. If you just go online, if you go on Spotify or even YouTube and search for Christian music, the stuff that you're going to find is probably going to be anything but Christian. And so we put together a music channel. I'm going to go ahead and screen share this with you, and let me know if everything's good on the audio and everything too. But you will see here we have the Liberty Baptist music channel, and we have several uploads that we've done. These are all recordings that we've done here at the church involving people from Liberty Baptist Church or friends. We have the Of course, the 3 different pastors that helped in the one. We have a couple from the Randalls. He is the Only King. That's the biggest hit on our channel so far. That one, and they did an amazing job on that one. Another thing I have on here too, I've got all the subscriptions public, and I'm looking for recommendations for good music channels on YouTube. If you know of any that you want to recommend, go ahead and leave a link to them in the comments, and I always have to approve those ones. If they don't go through right away, it's going to go to the approved folder because there's always it automatically blocks links, but I'll be able to see them. And then these are just a bunch of different channels that have a lot of music on it that I think is good, that I would recommend people listen to. So if you have any suggestions on that, send those to me. I'm trying to find good music on YouTube, but it is kind of hard to find on there, but I know it's there. And then I'm putting together some playlists. I've got a section here, songs about the second coming. Sometimes I just like listening to songs about the rapture. And so here's a bunch. These are all ones on YouTube. These aren't necessarily all ones that we've done, but just any decent conservative Baptist music. And that's all I'm sharing on there too. There's some people that aren't Baptist that sing decent songs, but we're not really wanting to feature them on this channel. We have a playlist of congregational music from our church. If you like listening to congregational music, Great Is Thy Faithfulness, that one is probably the most popular one on our channel, and that one just is really good. We got a playlist from our family. I've got a playlist here of just some of my favorite songs that are on YouTube. And understand, I do think when it comes to music, it is about taste sometimes, and there's music that's decent that I don't particularly like. And some of the music that I like, you might not particularly like. That's not a guarantee that you're not spiritual. It says that you have bad taste, but that's just my opinion. But either way, I'm just kind of joking with you there. But, go and subscribe to that channel if you haven't done that yet. I've got a link for it in the description. And we're going to try to keep putting good music on there. We're hoping to continue getting better and better at it. We've got a lot of musical talent here at the church. And so we're working and trying to improve the editing and the quality and all that stuff. And I'm pretty happy with how these are turning out. And I think as time goes on, it's just going to be getting better and better. So make sure you check that channel out. And I think you'll get a blessing from it. Check those other channels out. And, you need to listen to good music. Everybody needs to listen to some good music. It's very important. Music does affect you greatly. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to go to a few scriptures on this. I preach about once a year on this subject, usually around Thanksgiving, because the Sunday after Thanksgiving, we always have what we call our Singspiration. And we have a Sunday evening service. We have a whole bunch of special music, singing, instruments, the whole 9 yards. And so I typically preach on music around that time. And those services, though, are not live streamed just because we don't want people to be embarrassed about getting up and singing. And in case somebody gets up and sings and they do a really bad job, we would hate for that to go viral and for them to become embarrassed or a meme or something like that. So there's people out there who they take videos and they have fun with them. And that's not always a very nice thing to do. And so because of that, we don't want to, we don't want that to happen to somebody who does not want that happening to them. Now, as far as those mean people go, I guess I'll just do a little plug for this too. Something that we just did recently is we took let me see if I can get that to come up. Yes, some of us are taking videos from other churches, and here's one. Jason goes to church, and you have to go watch this video. I'll leave a link in the comments for this too. You got to go check this out. These are all just going to be funny videos, editing them into different church services. So the first one we did, it is with Pastor Bill Reeves preaching. I got his permission to do this. Pastor Bill Reeves, he was on my show a couple weeks ago, and he's a good friend and a good guy, and thankfully a good sport. and he let us have fun with probably one of my favorite video clips of him, where he does the famous "We ain't changing" scream. So make sure you, I think I can leave a link in the chat. There you go. But don't watch it right now. We want you to stay tuned in the show. But I've got a couple more of these ready to go. If I think what we decided to do, we want to space them out a little bit. But I think if we can hurry up and get that one up to about 500 views, then we will go ahead and release another one. And the next ones are funnier. They're gonna get funnier as they go. The second one is really funny. You will be shocked at what happens in a church service. And then the one after that is even crazier. So you definitely want to see those. They're pretty funny. Jason is a good actor. But anyway, so enough with the shameless plugs there. Let's get to this subject of music. Now, when it comes to this subject of music, and the reason I'm talking about this now, I'm actually, we're planning on in the hopefully near future, it won't be too far away, we're wanting to do, we're going to be doing some more live Spirit of Liberty broadcasts like we used to, where we have the other guys together in the room, show different things, and we've got a plan to do a series of those. Probably going to start them in the fall or winter, I'm thinking. But I wanted to cover this subject now, even though we'll probably cover some of this stuff again when we do that next program. But I wanted to talk about it because, for everyone, and men included, these are mainly geared towards men, the music that you listen to is going to have an impact. It's going to have either a positive or a negative impact. Many people who are struggling spiritually in their lives and who are not getting victory in their lives, are one of the reasons is the music that they're listening to. You cannot just fill your head with filth and carnality and not expect it to have an effect on you. But what people are doing, they lie to themselves when it comes to music. And I really think Christians are probably the worst at this, because as Christians, the difference between us and the world is, we have the Spirit of God that's dwelling in us. We have that new man. We've been resurrected spiritually, unlike the world. So there's a conflict that comes with us when we're listening to filth. And so we're conflicted because, yes, our flesh likes it, but the Spirit that is in us hates it and does not like it. And so while we're trying to, give our flesh what it wants, there's a conflict with the Spirit that's in us because it doesn't want that. And so Christians often end up becoming very confused people. And a lot of it is because of the music that they're listening to. While the world, yes, they're very carnal, and yes, it shows, but they're also not conflicted either, because they're just giving their flesh whatever they want. They're also dead in their trespasses and sins. They're also on their way to hell. So, So when it comes to a lot of the foolish things that you hear about music, it typically only comes from people who claim to be Christians. And I believe many times these people are. I just think they're very backslidden. I believe they are very carnal. And that's why they say a lot of the foolish things that they say. I think Christians, so-called, are the only people who try to claim that music is amoral, and that it's not about the music, it's about the words. As long as the words are good, as long as the words are scriptural, as long as the message is right, then it's okay. Lie, not true, and backslidden Christians are the only people dumb enough to believe that. Now, I'm just going to give a few examples here, all right? I'm going to show you something that, just kind of proves my point that music is not amoral. And not only that, but the music that you listen to, okay, it will produce certain fruit in your life. It will show on the outside in your life. It will become evident in your life that you listen to a certain type of music. And there are people out there, and we'll talk about a little bit, they're a lot better at figuring out these things and understanding these things. I won't say this is a strong point with me, because when it comes to a lot of the different genres of music and a lot of cultural things, I'm always behind the times, and I often reveal that to everybody, by things. But, at the same time, let me just show you a few things just to kind of make a point with everyone. So first off, I want to show you here a picture of a crowd of people. Now, this is a concert. Now, can anybody from just looking at this picture tell me what kind of concert you think this is? You know, I mean, how could you tell what it is? Now, some of you are probably saying it. And if you are saying that's a country music concert, then I would say, yep, you are absolutely right. Now, what would make you think it's a country music concert? Is it all the cowboy hats that you're seeing? Listen, if music is amoral, you know, why can't people wear cowboy hats at a rap concert? You know, why can't people wear cowboy hats at a, you know, Southern gospel concert? You know, why are you so sure this is a country music concert? Why is it you can tell from just looking at the crowd? Again, because that there is a culture that goes with that music. There is that, you know, Western culture that or that country, the cowboy stuff, you know, the Southern accents. And notice too, and let's just go ahead and point this out. Some of you are probably thinking this. Another reason we know this is probably a country music concert, and it's not just like a regular rock concert or hip hop or even I don't know who the singers are today. But notice the another thing these people all have in common, they're all white. Okay? Look how many white people that there are. Now, where's all the diversity? Okay? I mean, I'm looking at that crowd real close right now. I'm only seeing white people in there. What's going on? Okay? You understand that there's certain cultures that are drawn towards certain music. Why? Because, listen, if music is amoral, if music doesn't reveal culture or anything like that, it's just music, it's just about the words, then where's our diversity? Everything that we have in America is always diverse. They're usually not allowed to show pictures of anything unless it has diversity. But the problem is, if you're going to go to a country music concert, it's all going to be white people there because they're the ones that like that. So you can tell just from looking at that crowd. Now, let me show you another crowd of people. Okay, now what kind of concert do you think this is? Does this look like a country music concert? I mean, you know, that country one, you know, they did that one in broad daylight. This particular concert is done at night. Also, you know what? Hey, this concert, this got some diversity. I think I see a white guy in there. But we see a lot of black and brown skin also that's in there. What kind of concert do you think this is? I mean, you know, how dare you stereotype like that? You know, just from looking at a picture, you can tell. Yeah, you better believe I can tell. That is a rap concert that you are looking at right there. And you can tell just from looking at the crowd. Now, what is it about certain genres of music that make people dress a certain way? What is it about that makes them behave a certain way? Why don't they have a rap concert in broad daylight like they do the country music concert? Why are these things usually done in the dark? You know, what's going on? And I'm not trying to act like country music is light and good. I think country music's garbage too. But I'm just showing you that the truth is music is not amoral. And the setting just wouldn't be right for a rap concert in broad daylight. You know, and so let me show you something else too. All right, I'm going to show you some album covers, and I want you to tell me what genre of music it is. Okay, so here's just all it is an album cover. What kind of music, do you think that's going to be? Hip hop, rap, country. What if I told you it was country? You'd probably say, I don't believe you. And why? Do you think that it's rap just because the guy's black? Are you racist? What's wrong with you? Is it, why do we know that it's country? Is it just because it's a black guy? Or is it the tattoos? Is it his bling? Is it his ball cap that doesn't have the rim folded at all? So, oh wait, what does clothing, what does the way he wears his hat have to do with anything? Okay, now listen, here's what I'm not capable of doing. I don't know how it works. I've not studied rap music. I'm not planning on studying rap music. But what is it about, why is it that you can't wear a suit and tie and have, and not be tatted up, not be blinged out, and do rap music? Why don't any rap singers dress up in a regular fitting suit and tie? And why don't we see white guys doing it in a suit and tie like that? Why is it when a white guy wants to do rap music, he wears baggy clothes, dresses like a gangster, doesn't fold the bill in his hat, or curve it, wears a chain, gets tatted up? Why do you have to have tattoos for stuff like that? And so, I don't think it's just because he's black. We know that's a rap album. I just Googled these, came up. Here's another one. All right, do you think this is rap music, or do you think this is country music? What do you think about that? You know what? That's country music. How do we know? Is it because they're white guys? Is that what it is? You bunch of racists out there? Is it because Florida and Georgia is mentioned? Is that how we know it's country? Because that's more southern and all that? No, listen, there's a look, there is a feel, there is a clothing that goes with all these things. You know why? Because music is not an amoral thing. With music always comes a culture. There's always a culture that comes with it. And so understand, when you are listening to a music, you are not just being presented just some kind of entertainment for the ears. You are being presented a culture, and if you keep listening to that stuff, you will end up embracing the culture. You will end up taking on the things of that culture. It's the way it always works. Now let's look at two more album covers. I've got a few more here. All right, now do we think this right here is a cover for a rap album or a country album? I mean, what do you think? I mean, all it is a road. There's no words on it. There's just some trees. What do we think that is? We think that's country or rap. Oh, well, it's country because it's out in the country. Well, why can't you have country music in the city? Why can't if rap music is just music, if that's all it is, why can't that be out in the country? Okay, here is another album cover. What do we think this is for? Do we think this is country, or do we think that this is rap? Is it the name Lamar on there that tells you it's rap, you racist? What is making you, how do you know that's rap? Why is it we can just look at a picture and we can know all these things? Because a culture comes with music. That's all there is to it. And in the rap culture, there's just this gang banging mentality. There's violence, there's horrible treatment of women, there's all kinds of, I'm sure there's some rapper out there who did a song about being nice to women. Okay, but you know why he had to do that? Because he's trying to help their culture, because there's a big problem in it. Well, maybe a part of your problem in your culture is the music that you're listening to. The stuff that you're listening to every day is going to have an effect. It's going to have an impact. And so, again, you can tell with all these things, this idea that music is amoral is the dumbest thing in the world. Now, I'm going to show you two more pictures. Okay, one of these groups I'm going to show you is a Baptist college tour group. Okay, and another one is a Christian rock group. Okay, so a Baptist college tour group, one's a Christian rock group. So here's the first one. Is this the Christian rock group, or is this the Baptist college group? And you say, well, I think that's a Christian rock group. Well, how do you know that? I mean, good night. It says BC right there. That probably means Baptist college. So obviously this is a Baptist college, group, and you say, and it looks like one from the 80s too or something, right? Well, what makes you think it's from the 80s? Is it the hair? Is it the way they're dressed? I thought that stuff didn't matter. Why is it you can look at this and know what this is? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the Baptist College. That's what the BC stands for. And now I'm going to show you, here's the actual, just to show you stereotypes don't work. Here's the Christian rock group right here. Now, you know what? None of you believe me, do you? None of you are looking at that and say, no, that's the Baptist College tour group. The other ones, that there's no way that's a Christian rock group. You know what? You'd be right. Of course, that's the Baptist College tour group. How can you tell? Okay, because just by how they look, that was Commonwealth Baptist College, and their tour, a picture of their tour group, and you can tell they're a Baptist College tour group. What is it? Is it the matching outfits? Well, that's part. You know what? The other guys weren't wearing matching outfits too, kind of. They got matching outfits on. They even have BC on there. They've got a cross that's on there. Now I made it where you couldn't see all of it because it says "Rock for the King." That gives a pretty good indication that it's a that it's a rock group. I was hoping maybe you'd get fooled by the BC and think it was a Baptist college. But you know what? None of you are fooled by that because nobody is dumb enough to think that is a fundamental Baptist college tour group because they would never dress that way. And you know what? I'm not going to do this, and I didn't do it because I don't want to get nailed for copyright stuff. I don't know what all the rules are for all that. But I could go and I could take that Rock for the King group. I could play any one of their songs. I could take the Commonwealth Baptist College group, play any one of their songs, and not show the pictures, and you would know which one was the Baptist College tour group and which one was the Christian rock group. And you say, no, music, the message is only in the words. Baloney. Hey, baloney. And I'm telling you right now, Christians, backslidden Christians are the only ones dumb enough to fall for this stuff. And there's a lot of trendies out there promoting this, trying to act like music is amoral because they want to justify the Christian rock, the contemporary junk that's in their church. That's all there is to it. And so, these type of music, it identifies with things. Brother Hugo, he's on the chat. He says, when I hear country music, I think about Bass Pro Shop. And yeah, you know what? They play country music in Bass Pro Shop on purpose. You know why? Because typically the country type people go to Bass Pro Shop because they're the ones that are into hunting and fishing. I've never heard them playing rap music in Bass Pro Shop. Maybe they do in the gun section. I don't know about that. And don't call me racist or anything for that. But no, listen, there is a group that they're trying to appeal to. Okay, in stores and things. They're playing the Christmas music earlier and earlier all the time. Why? They know that kind of thing. It affects a mood and it gets you shopping. It gets you more likely to go spending your money. These things, everybody knows this. Everybody understands this stuff. It seems like Christians are the only ones that just don't seem to get that. And I do. I just find that very frustrating because I understand what it is. It's just rebellion. That's all there is to it. You're just being rebellious. But here's where we get ourselves in trouble a lot of times, because Baptists, and Baptist preachers, we instinctively know, and I think everyone does. I think every Christian, you instinctively know when the music you're listening to is right or wrong. I think the spirit that's within you will help you with that. Now, the problem with me saying that is there's always going to be some weirdo out there like, well, my spirit is blessed. I'm drawn closer to Christ when I listen to Rockin' for the King or whatever that group was. First off, okay, you can say whatever you want. I don't have to believe whatever you say. Okay, I don't believe you. I think anybody who's going to be honest is going to disagree with that. But what we do, the Bible does not lay out the details about what kind of drum beats are acceptable, what instruments are acceptable. We can't go to the Psalms and know what those things sounded like. So because we don't have Bible verses that can lay out the specific facts for why this stuff is wrong, it makes it real easy for the trendies to come along and to accuse us of just preaching extra biblical things, okay? And sometimes, preachers, they can cross lines and, just get up and declare an instrument of the devil and, act like drums are always evil. And no, that's just not the case. And sometimes guys do get up and they take things a little too far and they're just factually wrong. Now, I do think it's appropriate and I think it's wise for a preacher or a church to set some standards in their church and to just say, you know what? I don't know where to draw the line on drums, so we're just not going to have drums in our church. That's okay. They can do that. Okay? Now, it's not right for them to declare all churches that use drums apostate or wicked or something like that, because there are places that use the drums that I feel use them appropriately. But at the same time, too, a church just might not want to mess with it. Okay. I don't want to mess with the electric instruments. Okay. I think there's an appropriate way to play an electric guitar or even a bass guitar or something like that. But it's real easy to cross lines with those instruments. So it's like, you know what? We're just going to stick to the acoustic instruments too, because I might let one person use an electric guitar that looks like a normal guitar, but then I might have another dude come in with one of those V-shaped things, that looks like something that the Rockin' for the King group would be using. And I don't really want that look in our church, because even the look sends a message. One of the things that I plan on doing when we do that music live stream that I want to do is we're going to play music, and then we're going to show multiple different auditoriums, and you got to guess which auditorium that music is being played in. And you know what? You'll get it right every time, because you can look in a building and you can have a really good idea of the kind of music that they're going to have there. Okay? And again, for me to just get up here and articulate those details for you, I don't really know how to do that. Okay. I might be able to tell you certain things, when I start seeing the colored lighting, the more purple, the more pink, stuff like that, the more likely you're going to get that contemporary. The darker the church is, the darker the setting, the more likely they're going to be rocking things up. It's, I don't understand why you can't do that in a well-lit place. Okay? I don't understand the details of that. There's probably people out there that could explain those things to me, but, at the same time, we instinctively know. And so as pastors, we get ourselves in trouble because sometimes we just start kind of ripping on things that we have a problem with. And then in our attempt to articulate what's wrong, we just start condemning things that aren't always going to be bad. And while I get the point of what these guys are saying, and I would even agree with them, we're not always being 100% technically accurate. So we do need to watch out for this. But people are, smart people are doing studies on these things. They're learning on this. And I was reading this one article. I'll read some things to you from it. But it says 5 ways that music can make you healthier. Because while we all I think we all know that music has a spiritual impact, a physical impact, an emotional impact. There are people that are doing studies on this. And so this article is from Greater Good magazine. It's 5 ways music can make you healthier. It says new studies are suggesting that music can be more powerful than medication. Now, what's interesting about that, I remember a story in the Bible where King Saul had an evil spirit that was troubling him. And the doctors, they realized, hey, you know what he needs? He doesn't need medicine right now. You know what he needs? He needs music. And what did they do? They went and they looked for a harp player, somebody who knew how to play the harp, that was skillful in it. And David came, and it says in 1 Samuel 16:23, it came to pass when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, David took an harp and played it his hand, and Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. Now, I'm not saying everyone who's sick and everyone who has a health problem has a problem with an evil spirit. I don't believe that. But we all know that emotional problems cause physical problems. Everyone knows that. Doctors understand that. That, when you're going through stress and when you're having problems with anxiety and things, that it has a negative physical impact on you. And often the cure is not taking a medicine that just masks the symptoms of whatever the problem is. But, you need to figure out how to get rid of that emotional problem, get rid of that anxiety. And you know what? The best place to get relief from that is from the Lord, from things that are spiritual. And so, yes, I absolutely agree, and I think it's biblical that these things can be more powerful than medication. Okay? I'm not telling you never take medicine. There is a time to take medicine, but many of our problems that people have, many are, emotionally related, spiritually related, or they're at least impacted by those things. And the physical problems that come are real problems, but let's not forget, though, that the spiritual, the emotional, they affect those things. So we should always try to be healthy in this area. I want to be a mentally healthy person. We are hearing more and more talk today about mental health than just about anything. And people's mental health is not in a good state right now. So let's read a little bit more on this article. But it says, it's obviously a lady doing this article, and she said, when I gave birth to my firstborn, I listened to CDs of classical music in the hospital. I figured that music would help calm me and distract me from the pain. Why didn't she use rap music? Why couldn't she just use rap music with calm words? She doesn't have to listen to one where they're talking about shooting people or raping women or something like that. Just listen to rap music with calm words. As long as the message is right, then it will have the same effect. Baloney. Hey, no, it's music. And you know what? She looked classical music. She said you might use music to distract yourself from painful or stressful situations too. Or perhaps you've listened to music while studying or working out, hoping to up your performance. Though you may sense that music helps you feel better somehow, only recently has science begun to figure out why that is. Neuroscientists have discovered that listening to music heightens positive emotion through the reward centers of our brain, stimulating hits of dopamine that can make us feel good or even elated. Listening to music also lights up other areas of the brain. In fact, almost no brain center is left untouched, suggesting more widespread effects and potential uses for music. Music's neurological reach and its historic role in healing and cultural rituals has led researchers to consider ways music may improve our health and well-being. In particular, researchers have looked for applications in healthcare, for example, helping patients during post-surgery recovery, or improving outcomes for people with Alzheimer's. In some cases, music's positive impacts on health have been more powerful than medication. And that's another amazing thing, too, about music. People with Alzheimer's and dementia and things who can't remember hardly anything, you play music for them, and they'll start singing along all the time. I remember years ago, we went to a nursing home, and we'd go there all the time, and we'd sing a bunch of songs, and then we'd start preaching. And I remember there was this one lady, we'd go talk to the people there before we'd, have the service and everything. And she just came, I talked to her and she just stared at me, just very non-responsive to anything. And while I was preaching, all of a sudden, while I was preaching, she just walked up and she stood right in front of me like she was going to say something. And I'm in the middle of preaching, and I was just like, can I help you? And she just stared at me. She didn't say anything. So I just kind of stepped off to the side and just kept preaching to everybody. And she just stood up there. The rest of the time I was preaching, she just quietly stood up there. Wouldn't say anything. And it was really weird. It was really awkward. But then we got done, and after we would get done, we would always sing one more song. And so we went and we sang Amazing Grace. We had the group come up there. We sang Amazing Grace. As soon as that song started, she sang every word of that song with us. She stood up there, sang every word of the song with us. It almost made me think that was why she came up. I think she was hoping there was going to be more music and she wanted to sing with us. I don't know. But I remember we got done singing and, we closed out the service, and I just went over to her and I just hey, thank you for helping us sing. And she just stared at me. Couldn't get a response. I couldn't get anything out of this lady. But you know what? When she heard that music, she sang right along, and she sang every word of that song. Music's a very powerful thing. It's amazing the way the things we're able to recall, the things that we were able to remember. One thing that I remember that amazed me, I've always been good at, remembering songs. I'm bad at memorizing a lot of things, but music, I'm really good at remembering words of songs. And I remember when I was a teenager, I couldn't sing harmony to save my life. Could not do it. I remember when I was in high school, we were going to sing at a competition, and we had to sing a song where I just had to do one verse where I sang harmony. Just one verse. And it was with other guys too. I wasn't even doing it by myself. We could not get it. It took them forever. And then finally it clicked. They got it in our head, and we all sang harmony for one verse of that song. And then the next year, they didn't even try having us do harmony. But after I graduated high school, I eventually joined the adult choir in our church. And you know what? One day, it just kind of, it just kind of clicked. And I was able to sing harmony. I'd follow the music. I learned how to sing the parts. And it just clicked. Well, now, after a few years of doing that, I got pretty good at it. And then I remember I was listening to a song. I heard a song that I had not heard in probably 10 years. And I remember I heard that song, and I started singing the song, and I was singing the harmony part. This is the first time I've heard the song in 10 years. And there was like a harmony, like a second part harmony that was on there. And I sang the whole thing with it. And I remember I was like, how do I even know that? Because like I couldn't sing I didn't know how to do harmony when I heard that song 10 years ago. Yet when I hear this song for the first time in 10 years, after learning how to do harmony, I had all that harmony part in my head. It was still there. It is amazing the way music stays in your head, and it's the same way today. Songs that I have not sang in years and years and years, I will remember those things. And I don't know if that's just me or if that's everybody, but music does. It really sticks in your head, and it does. So there can be, it's a very powerful thing. And I'm not going to read the rest of this, but it talks in here about how music reduces stress and anxiety. It says, my choice to bring music into the birthing room was probably a good one. Research has shown that listening to music, at least music with a slow tempo and low pitch, without lyrics or loud instrumentation, can calm people down even during highly stressful or painful events. I thought it was just about the words. So what about music with no lyrics? It still has an effect, has an impact, and it has a message. It says music can prevent anxiety-induced increases in heart rate and systolic blood pressure and decrease cortisol levels, all biological markers of stress. In one study, researchers found that patients receiving surgery for hernia repair who listen to music after surgery experienced decreased plasma cortisol levels and required significantly less morphine to manage their pain. In another study involving surgery patients, the stress-reducing effects of music were more powerful than the effect of an orally administered, I don't even know how to say the word, type of drug. So again, this is a very powerful thing. It goes on and on. It talks about how music can reduce pain. It can improve immune functioning. There was something at the end. It talks about how it helps us in exercise. I want to read this part. It says, many of us listen to rock and roll or other upbeat music while working out. Okay, now I'm not endorsing rock and roll here, but it turns out that research supports what we instinctively feel. Music helps us get more bang for our exercise buck. Now there's some rock music it's very upbeat, it's very motivated, it gets you fired up. Okay, and so that's why some people will like to listen to that while they're working out because of the type of beat. It's like a motivational one. Okay, now there's other ones though that kind of have an opposite effect, and I don't know the details as far as which one has the positive and has the negative. Okay, I know it when I hear it, but I can't necessarily I can't give you the technical reasons for that. But here it says researchers in the United Kingdom recruited 30 participants to listen to motivational synchronized music, non-motivational synchronized music, or no music while they walked on a treadmill until they reached exhaustion levels. Measurements showed that both music conditions increased the length of time participants worked out, though motivational music increased it significantly more when compared to controls. So, yeah, the participants who listened to motivational music also said they felt better during their workout than those in the other two conditions. So you can see how, again, one of the problems with a lot of the rock music too, they'll talk about the syncopated beats and all that kind of stuff. And they actually work against the body's normal function and how things work. And it is a very negative effect. And that's why there's some music too that is very depressing. It's very dark. There's some that's very violent. There's music that is very sexual in nature. I mean, these are all just facts that everyone understands except for backslidden Christians. The artists understand that. They want to write violent music. They want to write sexually explicit music. And it's not about the words. No, they want the music to be that way too. And so you've got to understand that any music that you're listening to, it's going to come a culture, you could say. So you think you're just taking something in, you're just listening to something for your pleasure, but it has an effect, okay? It's the same thing as the food that you eat, okay? There's food that we eat that does bring us pleasure, but it has negative effects too. So you have to be careful with that. And if you eat too much of that junk food, okay, and I like junk food, but you eat too much junk food, it's going to have a very negative impact on you. You need to eat healthy stuff. You need to have a healthy diet. And it's the same thing with music. You need a healthy diet of music. Otherwise, it's going to start showing that you're listening to bad music. So, and there is such a thing as bad music. It says in 1 Chronicles 15:16, and David spake to the chief of the Levites to appoint their brethren to be the singers with instruments of music, psalteries and harps and cymbals sounding by lifting up the voice with joy. He wanted music too, and he wanted music that expressed joy. And let me tell you, it's more than the words. If you write a song with joyful words, you want a song you want music that has a joyful sound. Imagine if we took two Christmas songs, okay? Let's take Joy to the World, joy to the world, the Lord is come, let earth receive her King. Very joyful, positive, music. But let's go and let's change the tune to another Christmas song, like O Come, Emmanuel. And think about and imagine that. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let heaven and nature sing. That doesn't work. Why? Because Joy to the World is a Christmas song saying, hey, the Lord has come. This is great. Where O Come, Emmanuel, it's more of a prayer song, that we're looking for the Messiah. We're waiting for the Messiah to come and to ransom captive Israel. And it's an appropriate song. The music is appropriate with the words because it's like a desperate song of prayer. But one too with hope. Because you get to the verse, or the chorus, and the chorus becomes a little more joyful. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel. So, it's, you can see how dumb that song would sound if you just switch the tune. They're both Christmas songs, okay? But again, writers all understand that the music needs to be fitting to the words. And so there are people out there that are taking with Christian words and putting it to just garbage music. And let me tell you, that's confusion. That kind of thing is of the devil. Has no place in church, and Christians need to keep that stuff away from them. So there's things that are fitting for different things. Imagine, at a wedding, if the bride entered into the auditorium with Stars and Stripes Forever. That wouldn't work. That doesn't really set the mood. So it's not about the music, it's the message. No, it's about the music. Imagine playing Toccata and Fugue in D minor to begin a celebration. And I don't know if you know what that one. That's that organ song. Dun 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 dun. I don't know if you know that one. It's kind of a scary song. And to play that to kick off a celebration, that's not going to work. Okay? So if music is all about the words, then why do we have so many music genres, even when there's often no words with much music? So these things, again, Christians, so-called Christians, the only people dumb enough to say some of these foolish things. We have all kinds of different ethnic music. So if we were to have any kind of, community celebration of any culture, you know what? 3 things are always going to be featured. Okay? If we were going to celebrate Mexico, if we were going to celebrate France, if we were going to celebrate any country, 3 noticeable things. You know what it is? The first thing, there's going to be a certain type of music. Okay? There's going to be a certain type of music that you're going to hear at some kind of Mexican cultural celebration. You're not going to play Bach at that. Okay? There's a certain type of music you're going to hear. There's going to be a certain type of clothing that people are all going to wear that identify with that culture, and there's going to be food. There's going to be a certain kind of food that you're going to eat at that. And so if every ethnicity can have their own music, why can't we have, as Christians, why can't there be Christian music? Why can't we have music that is sacred? And a lot of these other cultures would get offended if we went and we took their music, if we went and took, some kind of Mexican mariachi type music, and then we had some Scottish pride celebration where people are wearing kilts and things, but then they're using their music in their parade. All the Mexicans are like, wait a minute, this doesn't work. You're stealing our stuff. This doesn't belong there. And then Scottish people are like, oh, they're all a bunch of racists, not letting us do that. No, again, there's things that are fitting. We all get that. We would all understand that. We would all look at the Scottish people like they were nuts if they use that kind of music. Yet we're terrible. We're legalistic. If we look at a church and we see them using music from a wicked culture, when they're using rap music in church, when they're using rock and roll music in church that came straight out of the hippie era, things like that. When we see that kind of stuff in church, like, wait a minute, that's not where that belongs. Okay, you people are pretending that you're a Christian, that you're a follower of Christ like we are, and you're bringing in that garbage culture into this. That's not right. And you know what? We would get offended as Christian if they took our sacred hymns and they were using them in some of their, weird cultural things. If they were using them at gay pride events and things like that. It's like, no, don't do that. I get offended when they sing Amazing Grace at country music concerts. Okay? I don't even want them doing that. Okay? That's our music. You keep that. You don't need to sing that after you sang a bunch of songs about fornication and drinking and all that kind of stuff. That's not right. So music too, the way it controls people, how it can control behavior. For example, too, at a ball game, okay, as soon as you start hearing that national anthem, they always have an outset. Everyone stand, gentlemen, take off your hats, stuff like that. They don't even have to do that. Everybody just knows. I mean, you have a ball game, thousands of people, and as soon as that starts, silence. And I think that's fine. That's that's appropriate. But it's just amazing how trained we are. And we won't go through it, but I think it's interesting in Daniel chapter 3 when Nebuchadnezzar wanted to have everyone bow into the image of him. The way when he got that thing started from the beginning, the plan was when you hear all the music. They had music, they had certain instruments, and there was a tune, I don't know what it was, that they were going to use, and they were going to begin training everyone. When you hear this music, this is what you do. And thankfully, 3 guys said, yeah, we're not doing that. 3 guys, they went against the flow, and they made a real difference that day. And but you know what? Society is trying to train us with that music. And I've been there at ball games before, too, where, in between innings and, during kind of calm times and stuff, they like to keep people entertained. And then so, they'll have certain music will get started, and everybody will start doing the same thing. Everybody will start clapping at the same time. All they have to do is just play over the loudspeaker, da-da-da, da-da, and the whole place yells charge. They didn't have to tell them what to do. Everybody just knows to do it. They start playing YMCA and everybody starts getting up and doing the hand motions and all that stuff. Nobody has to even tell them to do it. They just do it. And because music is a powerful thing. And so I'm here today to tell you that if you are having problems with lust, there's a good chance it has something to do with the music that you're listening to. Let me tell you, these music videos that these places put out too are very powerful things too. Do not watch the music videos these people are putting out. Those things help put that music in your head, because then it also gives you images too, and those things, they help people remember the songs better, and they are very powerful things. On YouTube, the most viewed things that are on there are music videos by a lot of these pop artists. I mean, folks, the weird trends and things, the weird hairdos that people are doing, it's usually not because of the Hollywood people, it's usually singers that start these things. They're typically the ones that get all these weird trends going. It was probably a singer that started the skinny jeans. It was probably a singer that started the man buns. I saw several people with man buns today. Greasy man buns. All right, who told everyone when you do a man bun, you got to grease your hair too? It's disgusting. It's so stinking effeminate. And I believe in showing people respect and dignity, but when you have a man bun, I got to make extra effort for you. I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it is. But you need, when you look at a lot of the weird stuff that's going on in our culture and that everybody has in common, when everyone's doing dumb stuff, you got to look and say, wait, something is causing this. And it's not usually exclusively music, but music is a huge part of it. Music is a very powerful thing. And if you're listening to rock music, if you're listening to rap music, if you're listening to country music, you're gonna struggle being faithful to your wife. You're gonna struggle with your attitude. You're gonna struggle there with keeping your emotions under control. These things have a very negative effect. And I'm telling you right now, what you need to do is you need to start listening to some good music, and you need to test these things on yourself. Just be honest with yourself, because again, I get it. We're all different. We all have different tastes and things. But I know, I've been, and this is harder for young people. And young people, you need to be especially careful. Okay, but by the time you're my age, I know exactly what the food I eat is going to do to me. I'm very a lot more moderate with my diet than I used to be, because I know exactly what it's going to do. I know the negative effects that it's going to have on me. And so because I know how it's going to hurt, it gets rid of that temptation, and I don't want it. And so, but young people, they don't understand that. They only know that if I go and I eat this or I drink this, it's going to taste good right now. And because in their mind, they don't know the effect it's going to have later, they're not worried about it. And so that's why it's the same thing too with music. There's music that's going to put you in certain moods, and the younger you are, the less you understand the impact that it's going to have. So you do need to have some trust with your parents when they talk to you about these things and they keep certain music away from you. You need to have some trust with your pastor when he's preaching against certain kind of music. That's just wisdom right there. But by the time you get to my age, I know exactly what it will do with me. And so I'm not even tempted to listen to a lot of that stuff. And I also know what music I need to kind of get me out of a bad mood or to get me motivated and fired up or whatever I need. I know what I need when I need it. And so, you kind of learn that over time. But I'm just going to tell you right now, everyone, young people especially, learn to go to good places to get what you need. Don't look to the heathen for that music. The heathen might put out some stuff that's, positive, but they're going to put out a lot of junk too. I think you need to stick to good Christian sources. fundamental Baptist sources. I'm not saying fundamental Baptists are the only ones that put out good music, but I'm saying they don't put out the garbage that's out there. So at least you know it's safe. That's why I have that YouTube channel too, where I have the links to all those different places. These are good sources. If you go and if you listen to this stuff, it's going to have a positive effect on you. I'm not saying these are the only good things that are on the internet, but I'm saying these are safe things, and you need to go listen to that stuff. And some of it's going to do nothing for you. Some of it you're going to really like, and it's going to be very beneficial for you. So you know what? Go check those things out. Go listen to those things. Let it make a difference, because we're all listening to something. And even if you're not voluntarily listening to music, a lot of places where people work, they're playing it over the speakers all the time. And you might not even realize it's having a negative effect on you, but it does. And I've had to work in factories and things before for years where they played that junk, and it did have a negative impact on me. And I think it was even more important during that time that when I wasn't at work, that I was listening to good music, and I did what I could to ignore that stuff and keep it away from me. I'm not going to voluntarily listen to that stuff. Sometimes you go to Walmart, you go to stores, and they're playing that stuff. I'm not telling you you're going to be a bad Christian and it's going to ruin you just from that. But why would we voluntarily listen to those things? Why would we listen to it in our car? Why would we listen to those things in our home? You need to get some good music, and you will be amazed at the results we'll have. So I barely even scratched the surface of what I was even wanting to talk about on this subject. But I do hope to do another one in the future, but I just felt that this needed to be addressed. You need good music. And check out that YouTube channel. There's some there, and that can potentially be a help. Those are safe places that you can go. And you know what? You say, even if you don't like a lot of it immediately, if you keep listening to it, a lot of that stuff will grow on you. Because another thing too, I forgot to mention, I think one of the reasons that music is so helpful to people, typically the music that people enjoy the most is music that they've listened to a lot. And I think there's something about the predictability of it, because you know what's coming. And I don't know, it's like it gives you order and control in your mind, where like the rest of the day we have no control of the sounds that are around us and the activity that's around us. But when you're hearing that music that you've heard a million times, you know what it sounds like, you know what it's going to do, and you know it's good. I think it kind of helps you feel in control, and what it does, it calms you down. And there are some songs that calm me down. One of the songs that's on our YouTube channel, I think it was the second one that we recorded, it's called In Dark Gethsemane. I love that song. It calms me down. If I need calm down, I can listen to that song and I feel very relaxed. For you, it might be something different, but that's how it works for me. But either way, we cannot stress the importance of good music enough, and I hope that you will listen to good music, and that it will be a help and a blessing to you. So thank you all for watching this. I'm going to give you one more good song to listen to from our music channel. And again, go over there, subscribe to it. This one is by the Liberty Baptist Choir. Holy is He. This is an absolutely epic song right here. So let me give you a good dose of medicine right here, and then we will see you all next week.
Holy is He. inside